Imagine walking into one of those high-end spas, you know the kind. Soft lighting that somehow makes everyone look airbrushed, the gentle trickle of water features creating a soundtrack of tranquility, and that distinct aroma of essential oils that immediately signals to your brain that you're about to relax. That's exactly where our story begins. The Serenity Springs Spa and Wellness Center wasn't just any spa. It was the kind of place where celebrities might duck in wearing oversized sunglasses, where the robes felt like clouds against your skin, and where a day pass cost about the same as a nice dinner for two. It was, in short, the last place you'd expect to find yourself accidentally pretending to be in a relationship with your friend. Let me introduce you to our unwitting couple. First, there's Alex, the kind of person who triple-checks restaurant reservations and arrives 15 minutes early to everything. Alex has this endearing quality of overthinking absolutely everything, from what to order at a coffee shop to how to respond to a casual, "How are you?" Alex is the friend who remembers your birthday, your anniversary, and probably your mother's birthday too. Underneath that slightly anxious exterior beats the heart of a true romantic, someone who genuinely believes in grand gestures and soulmates, despite being perpetually single. Then there's Jamie, Alex's polar opposite in almost every way. Jamie floats through life with a carefree confidence that makes everything look effortless. The kind of person who can strike up a conversation with anyone, anywhere, and somehow end up with an invitation to their beach house. Jamie lives by the philosophy that most problems can be solved by either ignoring them completely or addressing them head-on with brutal honesty. There's no in-between, no anxiety-riddled middle ground where Alex typically resides. These two unlikely friends found themselves at Serenity Springs thanks to a promotional email that Jamie had impulsively responded to, couples massage demonstration, learn the art of partner relaxation. The email promised a 2-hour session where couples would learn professional massage techniques they could practice on each other at home. What Jamie failed to notice, or perhaps conveniently overlooked, was the word couples prominently featured in both the title and throughout the description. So here they were, standing in the reception area of Serenity Springs, Alex clutching the confirmation email with widening eyes. "This is a couples event, Jamie. It literally says, bring your significant other, right here," Alex whispered urgently, pointing at the offending text. Jamie merely shrugged, that familiar mischievous smile playing at the corners of their mouth. "So? We're a couple of friends. Besides, it was half price, and when was the last time you had a massage? You're basically a walking knot of tension." Before Alex could protest further, a spa attendant approached them with a warm smile. "Welcome to Serenity Springs. You must be here for our couples massage demonstration. I'm Sophia, and I'll be checking you in today." She looked between them with that knowing smile people reserve for couples, and something in Alex's chest tightened. This was ridiculous. They should just explain the misunderstanding and leave. But then Jamie's hand was suddenly intertwined with Alex's, squeezing gently in what felt like a warning. "That's right," Jamie said smoothly. "We're so excited to learn some techniques we can use at home." The emphasis on "at home" made Alex's cheeks flush immediately. "Perfect. You two make such a cute couple. How long have you been together?" Sophia asked as she tapped something into her tablet. There was a beat of silence that lasted a fraction too long before both of them spoke simultaneously. 6 months, said Alex. "Almost a year," said Jamie. They looked at each other, and Jamie recovered first. "Well, it's been 6 months officially, but we were friends for a while before that. You know how it goes, that awkward, are we dating or just hanging out phase." Jamie laughed, and Sophia nodded knowingly. "Those are often the strongest relationships, built on friendship first," Sophia said sagely as she handed them each a clipboard with forms to fill out. "Just sign these liability waivers, and then you can head to the changing rooms. You'll find robes and slippers in your lockers. The demonstration is in the Lotus Room, just down the hall to the right." As Sophia walked away, Alex turned to Jamie with a panicked expression. "What are we doing? We can't pretend to be a couple for a 2-hour massage class." Jamie was already signing the waiver with a flourish. "Why not? It'll be fun. Besides, do you really want to explain to Sophia and everyone else that we showed up to a couple's event by mistake? That would be way more awkward. Just think of it as an improv exercise. An improv exercise that involves us touching each other's half-naked bodies," Alex muttered, reluctantly signing the form. "Look, if you're really uncomfortable, we can leave," Jamie said, suddenly serious. "But I think it could be fun, and hey, free massage techniques. I'm terrible at back rubs, so this could be educational." There was something about the way Jamie looked then, a mixture of hopefulness and that ever-present confidence, that made it impossible for Alex to say no. Besides, they'd been friends for years. Surely they could handle a little physical contact without it being weird, right? Fine, Alex sighed. But we need a backstory. And ground rules. Jamie's face lit up. I knew you'd come around. Okay, backstory. We were friends for years. I finally worked up the courage to ask you out after that concert we went to last summer, and we've been disgustingly happy ever since. That's actually not bad, Alex admitted. Ground rules. No unnecessary touching. No making things weird. And if either of us gets uncomfortable, we use the code word, pineapple, and figure out an excuse to leave. Pineapple, Jamie repeated solemnly, but with a twinkle in those eyes that suggested this whole scenario was already providing endless amusement. Got it. Now let's go get changed into those fancy robes and pretend we're rich enough to do this regularly. The changing rooms were as luxurious as the rest of the spa. Individual cedar-lined chambers with plush seating, rainfall showers, and those famously soft robes hanging ready for use. Alex changed quickly, heart racing at the thought of what was to come. This was fine. Totally fine. Just two friends pretending to be a couple while learning how to massage each other. Nothing weird about that at all. When they met again in the hallway, both wrapped in identical white robes, there was a moment of mutual assessment. Alex had never really noticed how the spa lighting softened Jamie's features, or how that perpetually amused expression was actually quite attractive. No, not attractive. That was the wrong word. Familiar. Comforting. That was it. Ready, sweetheart? Jamie asked with an exaggerated wink, offering an arm. Don't push it, Alex warned, but couldn't help smiling while taking the offered arm. Let's just try to be convincing without going overboard. The Lotus Room was set up with 6 massage tables arranged in pairs, creating 3 stations where couples could practice on each other. The room was bathed in the same soft lighting as the rest of the spa, with gentle instrumental music playing and the ever-present scent of essential oils hanging in the air. 5 other couples were already there, chatting quietly among themselves. They looked like real couples, Alex noted with a twinge of anxiety. How were they going to pull this off? A tall woman with silver-streaked hair pulled back in an elegant bun approached them with a warm smile. Welcome. I'm Margot, your instructor for today. You must be Alex and Jamie. Please, take the station in the back corner. As they made their way to their assigned tables, Alex whispered, How does she know our names? Probably from the registration form. Jamie whispered back. Relax. Your shoulders are already up to your ears. Their station had 2 parallel massage tables with a small table between them holding bottles of oil, towels, and what looked like instruction cards. Margot returned to the front of the room and clapped her hands gently to get everyone's attention. Welcome, everyone, to our couples massage demonstration. Today, you'll learn techniques to help your partner relax and release tension. Skills you can take home and incorporate into your relationship. Touch is one of the most powerful ways we connect with our loved ones, and a thoughtful massage is both a gift of relaxation and an expression of care. Alex swallowed hard. This was starting to feel more intimate than anticipated. A glance at Jamie revealed nothing but eager interest in Margot's words. Of course, Jamie would be completely unfazed by all this. We'll begin with some basic techniques, Margot continued. One partner will lie face down on the table first, while the other practices. Then you'll switch. Remember, communication is key. Tell your partner if the pressure is too light or too firm. This is about connection as much as it is about technique. There was a moment of silent negotiation between Alex and Jamie before Alex sighed and moved toward one of the tables. I'll go first. Such a giver, Jamie teased, but helped adjust the face cradle to the right height. A surprisingly considerate gesture that didn't go unnoticed. Lying face down on the massage table, Alex tried to relax. This wasn't so bad. The table was comfortable, the room was peaceful, and despite the awkwardness of the situation, there was something almost exciting about the whole charade. Like they were spies on an undercover mission rather than 2 friends who'd stumbled into a ridiculous situation. Now, giving partners, please pour a small amount of oil into your hands and warm it between your palms, Margot instructed. Begin with gentle contact. Place your hands on your partner's upper back and simply rest them there. Let them feel your presence and warmth before you begin any movement. Alex felt the table shift slightly as Jamie moved into position, and then there was the gentle pressure of hands coming to rest between shoulder blades. Despite bracing for the contact, Alex couldn't help but tense slightly at the touch. "Relax," Jamie murmured, leaning down close enough that the words tickled Alex's ear. "I promise I'm not going to hurt you." There was something in that quiet assurance that made Alex's muscles unclench almost involuntarily. Jamie's hands were warm through the thin sheet covering Alex's back, and the weight of them was surprisingly comforting. "Now begin with long, sweeping strokes from the lower back up to the shoulders," Margot directed. "Use the flat of your hands and maintain consistent pressure. This helps warm the muscles and introduces your partner to your touch." Jamie's hands began to move, sliding up Alex's back with just the right amount of pressure, not too light to tickle, not too firm to hurt. It was nice. Really nice, actually. Alex hadn't realized how much tension had been carried in those muscles until they began to release under Jamie's surprisingly skilled hands. "You've done this before," Alex mumbled into the face cradle, feeling oddly betrayed by how good it felt. Jamie chuckled softly. "I dated a massage therapist for a few months last year. Picked up a few things." Of course Jamie had. Jamie had dated everyone from chefs to rock climbers to apparently massage therapists, collecting skills and stories like souvenirs. Alex had always found it both impressive and slightly annoying how easily Jamie moved through relationships, entering and exiting them with minimal drama, remaining friends with most exes. "Next, we'll focus on the shoulders," Margot continued. "This is where many of us carry stress from our daily lives. Using your thumbs, make small circular motions along the top of the shoulders, gradually increasing pressure on any knots you find." As Jamie's thumbs found a particularly tight spot near Alex's left shoulder blade, a small, involuntary sound escaped, something between a sigh and a moan. Immediately, Alex tensed again, mortified. "That's it," Margot encouraged the room. "Don't be shy about vocalizing what feels good. Your partner needs that feedback." "Yeah, Alex," Jamie whispered, amusement evident in that voice. "Don't be shy about vocalizing." "Shut up," Alex muttered, but there was no real annoyance behind it. It was hard to be annoyed when those magic thumbs were working out knots that had probably been there for months. The demonstration continued with Margot guiding them through techniques for the neck, lower back, and arms. By the time they were instructed to switch positions, Alex felt like melted butter, relaxed in a way that hadn't seemed possible when they first walked into the spa. The anxiety about their pretense had faded to the background, replaced by a warm, pleasant haze. "Your turn," Alex said, standing up from the table and stretching. "Prepare to be underwhelmed after that performance." Jamie grinned, already shrugging off the robe to reveal the spa-provided shorts and tank top underneath. "I'll be the judge of that." As Jamie settled onto the table, Alex was suddenly aware of a new kind of nervousness. It was one thing to receive a massage from a friend under false pretenses, but giving one felt more active, more intentional somehow. Alex poured oil into trembling palms and rubbed them together as Margot had instructed. "Remember to breathe, both givers and receivers," Margot called out, as if sensing Alex's hesitation. "This is an exercise in mindfulness as much as technique." Taking a deep breath, Alex placed both hands on Jamie's back. The contact sent an unexpected jolt up Alex's arms, an awareness of how rarely they touched each other despite years of friendship. Jamie's skin was warm beneath the thin sheet, muscles firm but relaxed in a way that suggested complete trust. "That feels nice," Jamie murmured, voice slightly muffled by the face cradle. "You have good hands." The compliment shouldn't have caused the flush of warmth that spread across Alex's cheeks, but it did. Following Margot's instructions, Alex began the long, sweeping strokes up Jamie's back, trying to mimic the pressure and rhythm that had felt so good earlier. "A little firmer," Jamie suggested after a moment. "I won't break." Alex adjusted, pressing deeper into the strokes, and was rewarded with a contented sigh from Jamie. There was something deeply satisfying about eliciting that response, about being the cause of someone else's relaxation and pleasure. It was intimate in a way Alex hadn't anticipated, this giving and receiving of touch. As the demonstration progressed, they fell into a rhythm, with Alex following Margot's instructions and Jamie providing occasional murmured feedback. The initial awkwardness had transformed into something else, a comfortable synchronicity that felt natural despite the unusual circumstances. During a moment when Margot was helping another couple, Jamie turned his head slightly in the face cradle to peek up at Alex. We're pretty good at this couple thing, huh? There was something vulnerable in the question that caught Alex off guard. Before there was time to analyze it, Margot called for everyone's attention again. Now we're going to take a short break. Please help your partner up, get some water, and when we return, we'll move on to more targeted techniques for common problem areas. As Alex helped Jamie sit up, their hands lingered together a moment longer than necessary. There was a charged quality to the air between them that hadn't been there before, an awareness that had shifted during their exchanges of touch. They joined the other couples at the refreshment table, where cucumber water and light snacks were available. One of the other couples, a woman with curly hair and her tall partner, smiled at them. "How long have you two been together?" the woman asked conversationally. Jamie's arm slid around Alex's waist before there was time to tense up. 6 months officially, Jamie answered smoothly, repeating their earlier cover story. But we were friends for years before that. The best relationships start as friendships, the woman's partner said with a knowing nod. Lisa and I were roommates in college before we finally admitted there was something more between us. What made you finally take the leap? Alex asked, genuinely curious despite knowing they were deepening their deception. Lisa laughed. We were at a friend's wedding, both a little tipsy from the champagne, and Jen here finally just blurted out that she'd been in love with me since sophomore year. I was shocked because I thought she only saw me as a friend. I was tired of pretending, Jen said, looking at Lisa with such genuine affection that Alex felt a pang of something that might have been envy. Sometimes you have to risk the friendship for something that could be even better. Jamie's arm tightened almost imperceptibly around Alex's waist. That's actually pretty similar to our story, isn't it, babe? Sometimes the person you're looking for has been right in front of you the whole time. There was something in Jamie's voice, a softness that wasn't part of the act, that made Alex look up in surprise. Their eyes met, and for a moment, it was like seeing Jamie for the first time. Had that look always been there, buried beneath the teasing and banter? Or was it just an exceptionally convincing performance for their new friends? Before Alex could decide, Margot called them back to their stations. The second half of the demonstration focused on techniques for the neck, scalp, and feet, areas that required even more deliberate attention and care. As they took turns practicing on each other, the pretense of their relationship began to feel less and less like an act. The way Jamie's fingers gently massaged Alex's temples, the careful attention Alex paid to the tension in Jamie's feet. These didn't feel like the actions of friends merely playing a part. During a foot massage technique, Jamie's eyes remained fixed on Alex's face rather than on what those hands were doing. You know what's weird? Jamie said softly, quiet enough that only Alex could hear. This doesn't feel weird at all. Alex looked up, hands still cradling Jamie's foot. I was just thinking the same thing. Maybe we should. All right, everyone, Margot interrupted, clapping her hands gently. Our time is almost up. For our final exercise, I want you to face your partner and practice a simple neck and shoulder massage while seated. This is something you can easily do for each other at home after a long day. They positioned their chairs knee to knee, so close that when they sat down, their legs naturally intertwined. Alex went first this time, placing hands on Jamie's shoulders and working thumbs along the base of that neck as instructed. From this position, they were face to face, close enough to feel each other's breath. You're really good at this, Jamie murmured, eyes half closed in pleasure. You've been holding out on me all these years. Maybe you never asked, Alex replied softly, suddenly brave in a way that felt new and exhilarating. Jamie's eyes opened fully at that, searching Alex's face with an intensity that made it hard to breathe. I'm asking now. The double meaning hung in the air between them, undeniable and thrilling. Before Alex could respond, Margot called for them to switch positions. As Jamie's hands came to rest on Alex's shoulders, there was a new intentionality to the touch, a question being asked through fingertips. What would you say? Jamie began hesitantly, thumbs working small circles at the base of Alex's neck. If I told you I didn't entirely misread that email by accident? Alex's breath caught. What do you mean? I mean, Jamie continued, voice barely above a whisper, that maybe I've been looking for an excuse to cross this line for a while now. To see if there could be something more between us without risking everything if you didn't feel the same way. The admission hung in the air, vulnerable and brave in a way that was so unlike Jamie's usual carefree attitude that Alex knew instantly it was genuine. And in that moment, all the little moments of their friendship rearranged themselves like puzzle pieces, finally finding their proper places. The lingering looks, the unnecessary touches, the jealousy poorly disguised as teasing whenever either of them dated someone new. "That's a pretty elaborate scheme," Alex said finally, heart pounding so loudly it was a wonder the entire room couldn't hear it. Jamie's hands stilled on Alex's shoulders. "Are you mad?" Alex reached up and placed hands over Jamie's, holding them in place. "No, I'm thinking that for someone so confident, you can be remarkably obtuse sometimes." A flicker of hope crossed Jamie's face. Meaning I've been half in love with you for years," Alex admitted, the words both terrifying and liberating to finally say aloud. "I just never thought you'd see me that way." The smile that broke across Jamie's face was like sunrise, slow at first, then all at once brilliantly bright. "So we've both been idiots?" "Complete idiots," Alex agreed, smiling back just as widely. "And this is our final exercise," Margot announced to the room, completely unaware of the monumental shift that had just occurred at the back table. "Partners, lean forward and place your foreheads together. Take 3 deep breaths together, synchronizing your breathing. This connection is the foundation of the intimacy we've been building through touch today." As they leaned forward, foreheads touching, breathing in tandem, Alex felt a sense of rightness that transcended the absurdity of how they'd gotten here. Jamie's hands moved from Alex's shoulders to gently cup that face, a touch so tender it made Alex's heart ache. "Can I kiss you?" Jamie whispered, the words barely audible over the soft music. "For real, not for show." In answer, Alex closed the small distance between them, pressing their lips together in a kiss that felt both like a beginning and like coming home. It was brief. They were still in a room full of people, after all, but it contained a promise of more to come. When they pulled apart, both slightly breathless, Margot was thanking everyone for participating and reminding them to drink plenty of water after their massages. The other couples were gathering their things, chatting happily about what they'd learned. Lisa caught Alex's eye across the room and gave a knowing wink that suggested their moment hadn't been as private as they'd thought. As they collected their belongings and prepared to leave, Jamie's hand found Alex's, fingers intertwining naturally. "So what now?" Jamie asked, and for the first time in their long friendship, there was a touch of uncertainty in that voice. Alex squeezed the hand in reassurance. "Now we go on an actual date. One where we're both aware it's a date from the beginning." "I'd like that," Jamie said, bringing their joined hands up to press a kiss against Alex's knuckles. "Though I have to say, as far as first dates go, a couple's massage is pretty hard to top." They were still laughing as they left the spa, walking closer together than they ever had before. Outside, the late afternoon sun cast everything in a golden glow that felt fitting for this new beginning. They'd arrived as friends pretending to be a couple and were leaving as, well, they'd figure out exactly what to call it. They had time now. "You know," Alex said as they waited for their rideshare, "for someone who claims to have dated a massage therapist, your technique could use some work." Jamie gasped in mock offense. "Excuse me? You were practically purring under my hands." "I was being polite," Alex teased, loving the way Jamie's eyes narrowed in playful challenge. "I guess I'll just have to practice more," Jamie replied, pulling Alex closer by the waist. "Extensively, thoroughly, until my technique is absolutely perfect." "I suppose I could allow that," Alex murmured, arms sliding around Jamie's neck. "For educational purposes." "Of course," Jamie agreed solemnly. "We're both very committed to education." Their second kiss was longer than the first, unhurried and exploring, right there on the sidewalk outside the spa where their story had begun just hours ago. And as they broke apart, smiling against each other's lips, both knew with absolute certainty that this was just the first chapter of something wonderful, a love story that had been writing itself all along, just waiting for them to finally read between the lines. Total _char_count, 17,868.